So, good morning, everyone. We're just waiting for all participants to join. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for the chat message. We now see that this is also working. So, good morning, Johan. Good morning. Morning. So the chat is working. That's fantastic. Alexander, are you in Germany or in Switzerland?
I'm currently in Switzerland in our offices in Zurich.
Cool. Very nice. So, I think it's time to start. No, Alexander, we cannot allow the camera to start for the participants currently, but maybe we will change at the end with the Q&A session, but we will decide spontaneously. Thank you for your question. Okay, so I think it's time to start. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's Microsoft webinar event feature. It's very cool, but for the participants, it's a little bit strange. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We are very happy that you are here. And now, before we dive in, here is a quick overview of our today's journey. We will start by exploring why AI is becoming essential in support, including the challenges many teams face today. Then we will show you what's possible with AI-powered solutions like Agent Assist from Enterprise Bot in real-world environments. And after that, we will also address the critical topic of responsible AI and finally look ahead to future trends in conversational AI. And of course, we'll leave time for your questions and a shared discussion at the end. Now, let me introduce you to our amazing speakers today. Here we have Alexander. Hello.
Hello, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, Alexander. Alexander leads strategic partner initiatives and ecosystem growth with EnterpriseBot. With a background in global software as a service companies, he brings deep expertise in building scalable partnerships and driving innovation through collaboration. And the next speaker is Danielle. Hello, Danielle. You are muted, but...
Sorry, but I still said hi to everybody.
Hi, Daniel. Daniel is an expert in virtualization, IT architecture, and conversational AI with a specialization in on-premise environments. He develops secure, high-performance AI solutions for data-sensitive industries and empowers teams through hands-on training and strategic guidance. And the next one is my colleague, Robert.
Hello.
Say hello. Robert and myself, we will be the co-facilitator for this session. Robert ensures successful deployment and integration of AI solutions in enterprise environments. With extensive experience in very complex infrastructures, he focuses on sustainable implementation in enablement for client teams. And last but not least, myself, I'm Violetta Vio. I'm co-CEO and growth strategist at Vidalligence, and also I'm co-leading Swiss ICT Innovation Expert Group with Swiss ICT Association here in Switzerland. And I help organizations design and implement AI solutions that are practical, strategic, and forward-thinking, with a strong focus on meaningful innovation and ecosystem impact. So the next topic that we have about 25 minutes is about case of AI in support. We will explore some challenges, the capabilities of the solutions from Enterprise Bot, and also go a little bit further with the future vision that we see in AI with support. Thank you. Robert, please take over.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello to everybody. In the next section, we will hear from Daniel about the case in AI support, the challenges, later on capabilities, future vision. But first and foremost, we will hear about the challenges, rising customer experiences in support teams. Usually the support teams want to do more with less, and AI will give us maybe, hopefully, the capability to do this. Daniel, can you take over? Unmute.
Okay, I'm unmuted. I will take the slides also. Thanks. So, first and foremost, what the biggest challenges we're facing right now. An example on the first level, too many tickets, too little time. It's the biggest support challenges we now have. I'm for myself, I'm working on a second level and a third level. So I'm actually hoping that the first level get it right. We have a lot of simple tickets in IT. The first level is just drowning in requests. The first level also have a lot of changes because they change support teams, the humans also that work for the companies. They leave the company. So even when they new answer to a, let's say, simple question, next request asked by the customers, it's especially here new for the new guy. So what we have in the second level also, we have a lot of forwarding tickets then from the first level because they don't know the simplest answer. And the challenge is, of course, you on the third level, you just in deep knowledge here, and you have to answer the simplest calls that should be taken over by the first level. So the biggest problem, what I see right now is we have slow resolution times there. We have constantly changing, human stuff, and even the simplest answer will have to be rediscovered again. Yeah, by searching for answers, and the answer was already answered, in the ticket system, like 1 year ago. So right now there's a high pressure on every support team, and as you know, it's not so easy to add humans and scale out this definitely. So it means by that the biggest challenge what I see right now is how to solve this issue to provide a good support in the first level, and also take away the pressure from the second and the third level again. And this is where we will talk about AI, because you will see that we have a rising expectation. You need to answer the calls immediately, of course. Nobody wants to wait in lines. Even when you call a hotline and something really easy, like changing an address, so when you have a new supporter in the first level, it takes time. So nobody wants to wait in the waiting line, and I think that's a case when we can use AI as well. We will talk with Alexander about it. And yeah, anything else? High stress, of course. AI, it's cannot be really stressed, as we know. So also we take away the human stress, from a first level support. And I don't want to talk about solutions right now because these are only the challenges. And you see, we have tools we can provide here, so we can maybe solve the issue, or maybe just help the first level and the support teams, because they struggle today, and that's in every company. It does not have to be an IT company. It can have insurance companies, banks, whatsoever, and they need help right now. So I think a good idea is to check if AI is good for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniel. Let's go over to Alexander, who has shows us capabilities of AI enterprise bot for intelligence support.
Oh, sorry, I think I stopped the presentation. I'm so sorry.
Doesn't matter.
There you see, this is the first level stuff.
Again.
This is not the second level stuff. How to show a presentation. I can repair a presentation, but I don't know how to show a presentation. It's not the second level. Thank you, Vayo.
Don't worry. But now that's a good point, because I have to interrupt. So my role is always to interrupt people because of the disruption. Before we go to the part of capabilities of enterprise bot, I have prepared a slide for you to a little bit appetize our guests. And I would like to drop this question into the chat and would like to have your opinion, or at least to see if you have maybe top pain points from your point of view in your organization that you currently face. Do you see the discussion? Or otherwise I will put it in the chat. This is the Q&A session.
I've just taken up the screenshot on screen view.
Okay. So I will do this in the chat. I think it's better. Okay. You can go further, Alexander. And thereafter we will see what answer that we receive from the audience.
Okay, dear Daniel, Robert, thanks. Now, next step after what Daniel just mentioned is, let's say, more the focus on a tool, on the tool capabilities, to then say, how can we support the let's call it issues, the problems? How can we solve the issues and the problems that Daniel just mentioned around the let's call it IT support in general, or the support question in general. Just 2 quick slides on Enterprise Bot. Just for those who don't know us, we're a Swiss-based company. So we've been in the market since 2017. So way before the rise of Gen AI, large language models, etc. We've grown in Switzerland, outside of Switzerland, from a customer base. For the past 3 years, we've also now included Gen AI into our solution to then complement everything that was there before. And as you can then also see, many international companies, naturally due to the Swissness, we have a large foundation in Switzerland, but about 50% or more are then also, let's say, external customers or Swiss external customers that we are focusing on. And to the customers and also references, I'll come to that in a bit. If we talk about the needs of what the solution needs to provide to then prove and provide agent assist or agent capabilities, there are, let's say, various components that we then need from a let's call it tooling, from a tooling capabilities. I mean, first of all, naturally, the conversational AI over over the various channels that are there. This might be chat, voice, email, messenger, etc., to then have a consistent communication from the customer to the enterprise. And that's one aspect that is necessary. Naturally, agent assist capabilities, how do I tie in the human into the automation? How do I tie in a human into the conversation that the bot initiated and also has been ongoing and then hands over to the human? That is the core of the agent assist capabilities. Now I'll come to that in a moment. So this is then how we support the agent with, let's say, activities, with suggestions, next best actions to then provide and make the agent, let's call it quote unquote, better than he or she could be without tools or without automation. Already mentioned omni-channel, it naturally should not be limited to a single channel, and also the channels should be, let's call it identical from the capabilities and also from the, let's say, interaction data and also interaction capabilities. The agent assist and also the conversational AI has a tight integration into the backend systems of the customer, because without this integration, there is no ability to fulfill something, and that's a need of the platform as well, to then say, I can access backend information. This might be, for instance, policy information. This might be booking information. This might be customer information, etc., etc. To then say, I can provide more and detailed information and also value into the conversation to make it more personal. And that's something that needs to be done. It says here process integration. Just to clarify, we are not an RPA, robotic process automation, or BPM, business process management solution, but we integrate into those processes to then kick something off. So basically, first notice of loss, something like that, we can kick off for the process integration. But as mentioned, we are not a process integration tool, just to clarify from a wording perspective. And naturally, last but not least, but that is the foundation of everything. The certification, GDPR compliance, data privacy, data security needs to then naturally be ensured, because we're talking about confidential enterprise data that is there. And this naturally needs to be, let's say, protected, to state the obvious, but also then ensure that this information does not get leaked outside of the organization, outside of the realm of control that the agent or the chat or the bot has. So those are then 5 core components that we see as necessary for the conversational interaction. Now, if we look at the detailed agent assist, what is it? And this is right now just a shot from my side from a definition perspective. I want to make the agent more productive through the agent assist capabilities. This means, or can mean, an increase in support. So basically supporting the agent in their conversation with the customer. So basically providing suggestions, providing interactions, or maybe questions that the agent should ask, depending on how the agent assist is set up. So basically making the agent more efficient and effective, and also better and more personal in the conversation with the end user. Another aspect of the agent assist is to then decrease the training and onboarding time, to then make the agent productive faster in his or her daily work. And that's also something where we then see a large decrease in onboarding and training efforts, because the agent assist capabilities can then, or is then, supporting the agent, and therefore the training of, let's say, all the know-how, maybe, I don't know, reading 25 manuals, etc., is not necessary for the agent anymore, because the agent assist capabilities is giving the agent all the information that they need at the fingertips. Naturally, the reduction of the agent interaction through automation is also part of the agent assist. So what conversation can I offload to a bot over various channels and therefore free up the agent in their daily work? Typically mundane questions, such as, I don't know, is there maybe train disruption? What is the cancellation policy? Or what is the status of my first notice of loss process? Stuff like that is not necessarily something that an agent needs to answer, but this can be also offloaded to a bot to then ensure that the agent can focus on more, let's call it valuable or more productive interactions with a customer. So, and then I'm making, as mentioned, the agent more valuable because more valuable tasks are being addressed and used by the agent. And this also naturally reduces a waiting time, as also Daniel mentioned, but also then resolution capabilities because the agent can focus on the core job of providing best customer interaction and customer service. Naturally, also an agent in our global world nowadays needs to also then be multilingual or live translation capabilities to then ensure that the agent is not limited to a specific language, and also that B, we can then also provide various languages, language capabilities to the end customer. Stating the obvious, in Switzerland, there are 4 national languages that can be used. Do I need an agent that can have or has all the language capabilities, or do I use multilingual and live translation to ensure that I always communicate in the language that the agent can speak and also that the user can speak? So that's always the, let's call it trade-off or the balance that needs to be done. But this is something that we see as a part of agent assist. So these 5 topics are, let's say, my definition, our definition of what agent assist is, and also what capabilities are necessary. Because what we want to then do, and this is right now just a reference that was posted, I think, last week on LinkedIn. For everybody that is not German speaking, the main topics are these 4 check marks, namely 77% less live chat queries, so basically agent interactions, 66% less waiting time, 50% more positive feedback, and also only 7% of the queries are now handled by an agent, down from 28%. So basically these result, and this is a real life example of our customer Swecom here in Switzerland, and these result in the key KPIs that every contact center, service center has, namely NPS, Net Promoter Score, AHT, average handling time, and naturally also the return on invest, in the sense of I'm using my agents to the best, to the maximum that is there. So this is then exactly what we're looking at and what we're focusing on regarding agent assist. Now, the question is, how do we do it? One part of the enterprise bot platform is, let's say, it's called the bot communication and the bot automation. As mentioned, we have a central AI, we call it DocBrain, and you as a company can have actually multiple DocBrains. It can be 1, it can be 10, it can be 100, depending on the use cases, depending on the width of the support services that are necessary, etc., etc. But that's something that can be configured, and every AI communicates over each channel in a consistent manner. So basically there's no difference between an email, voice, or chat communication. From an AI perspective, they're all equal. And the only difference is the user choice of communication. On the right-hand side, naturally, all the data that is necessary for the bot interaction, This might be internal, this might be external information, this might be information on your SharePoint, on your website, on various other systems that are there, integrated and facilitated with the LLM, large language model, Gen AI, to ensure, I always call it the linguistic setup from a language perspective. So basically, all of this is what we call knowledge management, namely, let's call it static information that is there. What are my insurances that I offer? What data plans do I offer? What services in general can I have? What products do I offer? All of this, let's call it static knowledge management that is there based on the company information and the company needs. On the other side, now we have the integration into the backend systems through, let's say, our flow designer to then access the backend systems such as your CRM, your Zendesk, your ITSM, maybe RPA processes, maybe BPM, databases, etc. So basically, what I call transactional data, and this is then everything that is necessary on a per user basis. So basically, these are then specific information that the user needs in the conversation or the bot needs to provide to the user. And this is then where the transactional information comes into play. And these two components, transactional and also the static information, tie into the agent assist capabilities to then say, how do I provide these information, not only on an automation perspective, so basically when the bot speaks with the user, but now where the agent is interacting actively with the end user, and the agent is getting all the information that is here from a knowledge management, from transactional data. Everything is now at the fingertips of the agent. Agent Assist is typically a solution sitting on top or residing within a CCaaS platform. CCaaS, a customer service a platform such as a Genesys, a BSI, a Salesforce, a Luware. So basically, that's typically where it resides from a service center perspective, but naturally can also be completely independent. This all depends on the setup at the customer or the setup that you have in your in your enterprise. So that is all in one single platform to provide all these capabilities towards the agent assist, so that the agent can act as good to the best of his or her capabilities, and also from the enterprise or from the customer perspective. So, as mentioned, Agent Assist can provide various topics, and this is right now a video, and I hope that this is now going to work to then provide the information and just showcase you how Agent Assist can look like. And okay, no, sorry. This is something, the video is coming later on, and this is right now just a quick summary from my side. Agent Assist providing, let's say, the real-time information, as mentioned, real-time generated suggestions, guidance, interaction, live translation, and also bot summary. And what you see here now, this is then the Agent Assist in a CCaaS solution, and this is right now Genesys, but you can then choose whatever you want from your perspective to then support the agent in his or her daily work. And as you can then see, this agent capability provides the summarization, sentiment analysis, etc., for the agent to then pick this up. With this, I'll then hand it back to Robert. And then, Robert, please take over.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Now we have a few slides. I call up Mr. Grosch Daniel, for some real environment points, like not everything is about the technique. Some things are also about people and evolving human collaboration. Please inform us a little bit about the integration with the human.
Okay,
Next slide.
Yeah, so let's talk about the future vision of our agent assist. So I think some questions.
Daniel, you have to take control so that you can then advance
Okay,
the
so
slides.
I cannot. Okay, I try. Okay, sorry. So you can see the slide for future vision of. Okay, so what I think the future of our agent assist is this real-time assistance from the first level and on even a second level. What I like, what Alexander talked about, is our dog brain solution, because you can create one dog brain for the first level and a second one for the even second level with a deeper knowledge and deeper questions that can be, reviewed. There was also a question inside the chat: how can we recheck the answer was correctly? This is actually what you can do with our tools. You can review the chats, and you can review the answers, and you can even connect as an agent, as a live agent, to the chatbot as well, and you can train it. So from this perspective, means we still need humans, of course, from right now at this point, because AI is constantly learning, of course. It's trying to automate some, routine tasks, like the answer of, you will see the demo, like changing addresses, or, simple questions like how to export log files or how to start virtual machines, something like the first level should answer. And because of the constantly changes of the knowledge inside the first level, you have guys who takes times and, ask or search for answers they already answered. So you saw that DocBrain can also connect to the knowledge bases like SharePoints, or maybe, Confluence documents they already reviewed from a second or third level point of view. It means basically the first level will get a real-time assistance. So you can use it like, I call it a zero level. We have a first level, second level, third level, and we have, if we want, zero level. Means basically we can provide the prompt, chat prompt, for the first level of access. Like the user has a question and, how to start a virtual machine, and it also already answered. All the steps are known. So the AI will just provide the correct steps to the user. And what also could be done, the prompt could be a real-time support for the first level. Means basically the first level is constantly listening in the background what the first level is talking about, and trying to provide real-time answers to the first level, because they already know the answer. AI knows the generic answer here, and it can provide the output, for the first level, and you can read it, or we can use a voice robot as well. So I think right now it could be like the first point of contact, first port of support. So trying to solve the problems, but we have also to talk about the future vision of AI. This is right now what we can do. We can provide this. We can train the dog brain for the first level. We can create a dog brain that's a deeper knowledge and need to be more trained with a second level. So it assists you as well. What I think as the future of AI is actually this proactive support. What basically means, this when a guy wants to change his password, for example, it can type this inside the prompt, or he can call the hotline, and so on. So proactive means basically it in the future. I mean not right now, but in the future it should interact with actions of a user and seeing he's struggling, he cannot log in, so it basically maybe he lost his password and so on. So we can proactively provide a link maybe or an email whatsoever and saying like, you know, you're struggling with your login. Maybe you want to reset your password, for example, you know. What I still think we need humans for this, because a lot of guys doesn't want to talk to a robot. So it means basically what's nice about right now is we can use this prompt to listening to the calls and provide the answer only for the first level. And the first level interact with a user. It's just basically reading the answers in real times and, you know, telling the user what to do. So, and because it's constantly learning, it's always learning, it will be better and better. Even when you change the human person in the first level, because he's gone, maybe he built some knowledge and, you know, he changed the company, and you provide a new first level human there, it still has already learned and already trained AI that can be, you know, asked about the first level question. And again, even when it's not answered, you can, you know, try to escalate this, right? AI can also, you know, take the points you have, like this chat, for example, and create an email and forward it to the second level, for example, or connect to the agent. And the second level will take care from this. And the second level knows already the, you know, the easiest answers are already done. And we have to, you know, dig deep inside this one. What's also nice about AI, and in our case, we have really easy tools to, you know, to build it, to train it. You saw this dog brain. It's when you see the tools, it's really easy to build a new prompt, to learn it, to train it. And also, you know, we have API that's could provide a developer support to, you know, connect internally databases whatsoever. You can, you know, use your on-prem infrastructure as well. You can change any LLM you want. Right now, we can, you know, we can use ChatGPT, we can use Copilot as well, whatever you like in this case. And also the scale out is really easy. So when you get more requests, it's basically, it's an infrastructure you increase, not, you know, you don't have to scale out the humans in the first level as much as you want, because basically it's not working. We don't have enough guys who can provide first or second level support right now. So AI should not replace the human, should provide a help to the human, you know, to solve this issue. So this is where I said, yeah, this is the future, and a lot of these things you ask inside the chat could be solved already with enterprise bot, and some of them need to be addressed in the future. What I also like is changing of language. Of course, you can change from English to Polish, for example, and to German, and we have also Switzerland-speaking AIs. So there will be a demo, I think, from Alexandra. I can provide you a call, so you can easily speak out in English, mówić po polsku, or du kannst auch auf Deutsch sprechen jederzeit, ne? Der wechselt ja genauso wie ich jetzt gerade. So you can see I just use AI, my own AI. I change the voices, I change the languages, not the voice, but the language. So this is what we think is the future. It basically should help the humans. AI should help the humans. Maybe in the future, and more future, proactive even, proactive asking, what should I do already when I'm struggling, AI contacting me and seeing I'm struggling here. But I think, yeah, that's a lot of things you can do right now with our AI.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Violetta, you wanted to insert another vote on share slide?
Yes, I already did it. We have too many chats here. Huh? I put it all in the, let me say, simple chat. We would like to know from the audience which of these future trends, let me say, that's all our that's our view. It's not a roadmap. Do you see it most impactful for your organization? You can vote, or you can also share additional topics into the chat. Thank you so much.
Next slide.
You
Alexander.
can take over.
Yes, please take over. It's about the
I'll
agent
take over.
assist in real environments. Maybe you show us some reference cases of what is smart AI in reality in existing support teams.
So now let's call it practical view in the sense of what references or let's say where it has been already implemented. Just first of all, a quick summary to my previous slot. So basically, what are we looking at? Omnichannel, we're looking at multilingual, we're looking at real-time translation. And there were also a few comments in the chat already on multilingual and real-time translation to then say how we do that, what's the model behind it, and right now, let's say from what we are doing or how we're doing, it's all around, let's call it speech to text, text to speech, to then say I can then translate things with the help of the of Gen AI from one language to the other language. So basically, I'm speaking English right now. I transcribe it into text to speak. Speech text. I take the text, translate this into a different language. Let's take German as an example. Then do the way backwards again to then ensure that I have this complete multilingual and also real-time translation capability. So basically, that is something how and what we then do. Daniel already mentioned multiple doc brains, so basically the knowledge of the AI is then there, large language models, but then also the last topic, namely traceability. This is then also very, very important to then say, I can then really prove why, how, an AI has completed or come to an answer or a response in that sense. And this is then naturally in not only in the customer interaction, but in general, very, very important to then say why and also based on what data was the answer then generated on to then provide, let's say, in retrospect, not necessarily proof, but also then the governance, the traceability of why a specific answer was derived. So basically, all of these needs are, let's say, part of the requirement for the agent assist. And then if we then go one step further, namely potential examples, we have various customers in various domains running various topics that are there. And so right now, I don't want to go into, let's say, deep detail of all of these individual topics, but as you can then see, the agent assist is not necessarily only focused on, let's say, either a specific domain or maybe only on a specific interaction type or form. It is really cross-domain. It's more of a horizontal aspect to then say, how can I touch all of these various aspects in my, let's say, service interaction in general with between the enterprise and the end customers. So if we then take this further, namely, whoops, that is, wait a second. Sorry, just was one click too far. This is right now what I wanted to show, namely a quick demo of Enterprise Bot Agent Assist in action, just to then set the context. First of all, it's running in Genesis. As mentioned, it can also be in a different CCAS solutions, such as, let's say, Newware, Cisco, NICE, BSI, etc. It could also be completely independent. And this is right now just, let's call it a container that we are running it. So that's one topic I wanted to mention. The second point is it's going to be a two-way conversation. First of all, I have a bot interaction with a customer, and then we have the agent handover into the agent assist capabilities, where then the agent will be supporting the customer in their needs. So basically, that is the second aspect that you then see, and then the third aspect, what you will also then see is what I call the, let's call it feedback or training aspect, namely to then give feedback back to the agent based on the AI and the AI evaluation of the conversation of what the agent could be doing better or what the agent needs to improve. So basically, those are just the three components that I just wanted to mention, and then just for your information. So I'll kick it off now. Just also to mention a few things. So basically, it was mentioned, is there any disruption between here and Newcastle? Here, automatically identification based on location services. So basically, the telephone number where the caller is between, so basically identifying the Newcastle region, and then going into Edinburgh. And then also the information, real life information out of the internal systems, the internal, let's call it disruption systems that are there to then identify, is there something going on? So basically a complete automated bot conversation between the end user and the company, in this case, an ER. Another aspect here, so basically providing all the information or feedback that the user is asking. Initially, he mentioned I want to sit next to my brother. Also, then keeping the context. So now, as a wrap up, the bot was saying so that you can then sit next to your brother. So basically, tying in all of the context from within the bot. And now the bot is handing over towards the agent, and this is then now where the agent assist capabilities then jump in. First of all, before the agent kicks in and says hello, you see here a complete summarization of the bot conversation. So basically, the agent does not have to ask the user why you're calling, what's the reason, etc., etc. The agent has the summary regarding the disruption between Edinburgh and Newcastle, and also the issue or the situation that he wants to then rebook his ticket for he and his brother to then be able to then sit next to each other. So the agent, as mentioned, has access to all the real-time information, all the systems, the backend systems through the agent assist capabilities. The agent does not have to then, let's say, jump out of this, go into a booking system, etc., but then can do everything, let's say, within the agent assist capabilities. Also, then, let's say, not only from a text perspective, but also from a visual perspective, you can then have all kinds of aspects in here. As part of the agent assist. Here, the agent then sees the two tickets with the seat numbers, etc., based on the booking number. So all the information that is there. So now, as part of the the end. Now, why doesn't it continue? So now I have an issue or problem. Namely, why did you then show what I mentioned as the third part? Not quite sure why the video does not progress. It's 10 seconds missing. So it's now then the wrap up of the conversation. One side, and also then giving feedback to the agent that in this case the feedback is she could be a bit more concise and let's say more from an answer perspective, more concise, more focused on the customer. That is just, let's say, a feedback that has been given or has been generated by the AI based on the listening into the conversation and also the back and forth between her and Martino on the phone. So basically, I'm not quite sure what went wrong with the video, but that's basically then the third part. And so basically wrapping up, giving agent feedback is then also part of the AI agent assist capabilities. So that is right now just a demo of how it can look like. If we then look at, uh, let's say just 3 customers that I just want to then pull up as a reference. I mean, first one, Generali, Generali Insurance in Switzerland is using the agent assist or the agent capabilities over all channels. We're talking about voice, email, and also chat for their for their customer interaction. Generali Insurance, a large insurance company here in Switzerland. Initially, it was all with email, around email triage and email routing, and they then stepped up into the chat and also then the voice interaction to provide their customer service. And Daniel already mentioned various voices, let's say Swiss German. Here in the region, it's naturally important to then be able to then support Italian, French, German, Swiss German, and also to a certain extent English. So basically all of these languages need to then be supported over the various channels. And then for Generali, it was really key to then have the accuracy from a voice perspective and also from a AI perspective to then say, I can to have 97% identify correctly what the user is speaking, if we're talking about voice, but also then correctly identify the intent, what the user wants to then ask or is asking. They have also achieved the reduction of incorrect call routing due to the fact that the identification now works much, much better. And the also then the reduction in the support emails that are there. So basically, in a nutshell, it is an increase in customer service, in customer satisfaction, because everything now can be handled easier and also automatically and also better than before in their interaction between them, Generali, and their customers. And as you can then see, it is they are using Luware as a telephony system, so not Genesis in that sense, but everything is then integrated into that to then support the agent assist and also then the agent capabilities and also the integration into the various backend systems such as UiPath or then also Salesforce to then just name a few. And naturally, as mentioned, or as you can then see, a proprietary claim system. They also use, let's say, the agent assist capabilities for first notice of loss. So from a scenario perspective, I have an accident. I want to report the incident towards Generali. I provide information, maybe pictures, maybe documents, maybe whatever. The email automation, first of all, vets all the information to then say, is it complete? Yes or no? And do I have all the information that is necessary for the agent? And this then also naturally reduces the agent time on this case, because the agent can then, when he gets the information, he knows that all of the information is complete, because the email automation looks at the information, asks or queries the user for additional information if it sees that there's information missing, to then have a full view of all the information that is there. And this is then just one use case of Generali using the agent assist. A different one is now really only focused on the call center, so basically only on voice. And Callpoint is a call center provider in Switzerland, using let's say providing call center support for various customers. So basically, let's call it a BPO scenario where they have agents speaking with multiple of their customers, and there the key focus was, how do I reduce the handling time? How do I reduce the effort, the training effort for the new staffers? And that is then the key factor that they looked into. And as you can then see, 30% or then 60% is then or has the reduction been made from an interaction, from an agent, or from a training perspective. And that is then really the core focus that they had, is how do I bring down these times significantly, and through agent assist and also all the automation topics that are there. And as mentioned, this is then only based on voice. Last but not least, we have then next reference, and this is then LNER, ties in quite nicely to the video that I showed. This video was just created based on the interaction with LNER, and their focus, or the main focus of LNER, was in the beginning, how do I reduce all the refund requests? So basically, if a train gets delayed, if a train gets canceled, how do I process the refunds? So basically everything around automation of these, let's call it mundane, simple requests. And that was the initial kickoff for LNER to then say, how can I reduce that? Because that ties in, ties a lot of activities on my side, on my agents. And that was then the initial scenario. And then branched out into various other scenarios to then reduce all the interaction, all the query times through also then the agent assist capabilities. Bottom line, equal to all of the use cases, but then also for the three that I just mentioned, is all around how do I effectively use the agent, or how do I effectively position the agent for the tasks. And these are then two aspects: the automation part of the side, but then also the agent assist part of the side, to then support the agent in their daily work, to then make them more efficient. And those are then the two key, let's call it common denominators for all of the use cases in in the examples that I then just showed you. With that, I'll hand it over back to Robert to then take it
Thank you very much, Alexander. Now we have next chapter. I think Violetta is talking to this.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alexander, for this deep dive introduction in your capabilities. Just one remark for the audience. We will answer all the questions at the end of the session. And thank you so much for your understanding. So the next topic is something that we, or everybody of us, needs or see as a very sensitive part. Sometimes you think that's sport part, but for us, this is something that we need to share with you, because we see it all the time when we do implementations. Even the most advanced AI will fail if people don't feel they can trust it. So the trust is something that is very, very sensitive and very powerful during the implementation, or also strategically. Especially in regulated spaces like healthcare or finance, responsible AI, it's not optional. This is essential. So what does this mean in the practice? For us, and this is also very important, there is a principle that we see and build when we implement AI. It should be fair, avoiding bias, and enabling inclusion, to be transparent. It should be explainable and accountable, and also at least everybody saying that, but very important thing is to be safe, protecting data, people, and also decisions. This is the foundation for scaling AI responsibility and ultimately for unlocking its full potential. So this is the summary of this one, and also another remark. We will also share the presentation with all of you. And now I will give the speakers point to Daniel and Alexander, and they will share some future trends in the conversational AI. I will see it from our perspective. It's an outlook and not a really roadmap. Okay, thank you so much. Alexander, Daniel, it's your.
Okay. Okay, then I'll take that up.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that. like I said, let me just take control. So, as mentioned, how do we see, let's say, we enterprise bot from a conversational AI perspective, how do we see this evolving, and also what are the, let's call it, next steps in that sense? Just to mention, it's not necessarily a roadmap, but more of how things are then evolving. And wait a sec, why doesn't it? So, first of all, a lot of people, the current hot topic is everything around agentic AI, in the sense of how do I provide something that, let's say, can pick up more and more agent or agentic features together with AI. Naturally, it's all around a definition of what is agentic AI, and also what how we define it. From our perspective, if we have a conversational flow, that is not necessarily agentic AI. Just to then incorporate large language models into this flow is not agentic for us. For us, agentic means, and this is then something that is really the focus of our product right now, in the next few months coming out, to then say, how can I just give the AI, let's say, the concept of what needs to be done, let's call it tools. You can then get CRM data here, you can get, let's say, maybe order data here, and in this database or in this ITSM tool, you can then put in your tickets, just as a very, let's say, high level overview. And I can then just tell the AI, this is what you can then do, please do. And that is what we call agentic AI. MCP, Model Context Protocol, is part of this whole thing. And that's one development that we then see going forward. Next one is naturally everything around neural voices, and to then make the voice, let's call it, less robotic or less automated, because you still hear, as a human, you still hear it, that the voice is somehow not, let's call it, not human in that sense. Better or worse, there are various capabilities that are there, but I think that's also one step going going forward, to then say, how do I make it more natural, but also then from a from various dialects perspective. So basically, being able to then understand the various Swiss German, or completely understand the various Swiss German dialects, or the I think 35 different Arab dialects that are there. So basically, that is then also one step going forward. Next one is also outbound versus inbound. This ties also quite nicely into the let's say, natural voices. If you have an inbound conversation, you, or let's say I as a human, have less problems, or less less issues speaking with a bot, because I expect that, or I can expect that. It's not something out of the ordinary nowadays. To then have an outbound bot call me, that is right now still not necessarily critical, but that's still frowned upon. And then typically you have these calls in the sense of somebody, a bot calls you, you have won, do you want to then participate in the lottery? You typically, or I always, let's say, press this bot away, because you know exactly what it wants. And this is something that I also see then coming, namely outbound conversations, bot driven, that they become much, much more natural, and also more resilient, and also interactive. One additional thing that we see, this is not naturally not necessarily the agent capabilities or the AI capabilities, but it's more of let's say, the various regions from regulatory perspective, cloud versus regional requirements. Currently, a lot of let's say, solutions are driven out of the cloud, but you have then also regions that then require local or regional let's say, needs. Let's say in the EU, it has to be hosted in the EU, just as a regional requirement. In, for instance, Turkey or Saudi Arabia, voice is not allowed to leave the country. So those are then just regional requirements that then need to be taken into consideration, to then ensure that the features around AI, around agentic AI, around agent assist can really be used to its full extent. Proactive and predictive support. This then also ties into the, let's say, agent assist capabilities that you've seen. Let's say, for instance, in the LMDR demo, naturally, proactive predictive support is more of an ITSM solution to then say, how do I proactively tell either a customer, you have to do this to ensure that something does not break in that sense, or let's say predictive support, predictive maintenance, based on the interactions that are there, I can then potentially say that you have a 50% of failure and maybe send out an IT technician proactively into that region. So basically, this is then more on the usage and also the use cases to then pick this up and take forward. And naturally, to then integrate the AI agents, and this ties into the first topic, agentic AI. How do I tie this into the various enterprise environments to then have, let's call it virtual agents doing something in the enterprise and also being part of the, let's call it virtual workforce in general, to then have and maybe an IT agent, IT help desk agent that then can solve internal or external IT support issues, just as an example. And to then Leo's point, what she mentioned, everything around responsible AI practices. So around, let's say, governance, we have this topic, EU AI Act, to then say how does an AI, or how do we ensure that an AI plays well in that sense? So basically that is naturally also something that we're looking forward to in the in the view what's going to be happening in the next stages. And also last but not least, personalized AI experience. So basically, if I communicate with a bot, I want to have it naturally know who I am and then give me naturally then the personal experience, because I don't know, maybe my my telephone data plan is always a large data plan, and that's why I expect something that the recommendations are all around my needs and not necessarily, hey, do you need, I don't know, a small data plan for, I don't know, the country Belize, where I've never been in my life, and that's why potentially why would I get this recommendation? So it's more around the personalized experience that that can be provided. With that, I'll hand it also back to Robert for picking it up and also taking next steps.
Okay. I think, Violetta, this is your task. Write up and takeaways in short and do the final.
Yes, that's correct. So that's the last interactive part for the session, as we want also to see which biggest learning or takeaways you can take from today. We would like to see or to hear from you, or to read from you, sorry, in the chat before we go to the further and last part QA session. And I put it a question also in the chat and not a Q&A session. So at least thank you so much from vidalligence and also Enterprise Bot team. We were very happy to having you here today. And now we can finally go and open the floor and see what's top of your mind. And from the logistical part, I will read some questions that were during the session, and Alexander and Daniel and Robert, you can answer at least these ones. So we have a question from how does the live translation for the agents work exactly? Is there a specific model which is used for the translation?
First of all, there are two components in the live translation. First of all, it is, let's say, the speech-to-text, text-to-speech components that are then language-based, and we rely on various partners to then do that. These partners might be Audio Codes, might be DeepGram, might be 11 Labs, might be Azure or Google services, depending on the language and also the need of the customer. So basically, that's one component of the live translation capabilities. The second component is then, let's say, the language part, the linguistic part, and that's then a combination of our solution plus large language models to then do the translation from one language to the second language. Basically, similar to if you then go into ChatGPT and then write a text and then say, please translate this into, I don't know, Arabic. And then ChatGPT does that. So basically, those two components are there to then provide the live translation capability. So speech to text, text to speech, and also then the language and also the Gen AI components.
Okay, thank you. The next, well, it's a little bit a critical question or a remark. Conversational AI functionality is available from Genesys CX platform. Why should I choose a third party and integrate a solution?
That's probably also a question towards me. So that definitely is a good question. I mean, naturally, as with many solutions, there are overlaps that are there. So it always depends on the situation that I'm looking at. It depends on the, let's call it complexity of the environment of the customer. So then say what makes sense, what does not make sense. And so it's difficult to answer with a concise or with a really yes or no. What we've seen, and this is then our experience, Genesys CX, let's say the conversational AI capabilities are, let's call it limited or focused very much on chat capabilities, to our knowledge and also currently. If we then look at the omni-channel perspective, not all channels are covered by the Genesys CX solution. Naturally, if you also want to have then consistent capabilities over various channels that then Genesys does not provide, that's also then where Enterprise Bot can come in. But as mentioned, it all depends on various factors, and that's why let's say yes or no answer is difficult to give without an understanding of the complex environment and the customer.
Okay, thank you. So the additional question to the first one. So the translation feature works for voice as well as for chat.
Yes, the translation feature works over all channels. So basically, we're talking about voice, chat, email, WhatsApp, Messenger, etc. That is then completely agnostic to the channel.
Okay, thank you. The next question was, which model is used for the summary of the bot's conversation?
Right now, let's say we are not, we are model agnostic. So basically, we can then take any large language model, any Gen AI model that, let's say, the customer wants. Maybe as you saw in the architectural overslide, we have ChatGPT. We use also Google Gemini, Amazon Bedrock, various let's call it open source models such as Mistral, Llama, etc. can be used, or also then proprietary models that the customer has. So therefore, from that side, we are model independent or agnostic. And we always use the model for the summarization of the conversation and to then provide these components into the Agent Assist.
Okay, thank you so much. The next.
I just saw the which model does then, in your opinion, work best for the summaries.
Okay, thanks.
our experience right now is that ChatGPT, and we're talking about the 4.0 and the 4.0 mini model, works very, very well. That is right now our experience. But in different contexts, different models might then perform better than ChatGPT. But what we've seen is that OpenAI model works very well.
Mm-hmm. It depends also on the use cases, right? Yeah.
It depends on, let's say, the data, the use cases, and also sometimes the language to then say which model would be best.
Mm-hmm. So the next question was anything to show. I think that was mentioned in relation to the demo.
Mm-hmm.
If not, please precise the question. The next one was also, I think, answered. Why have separate agents, or the second agent is a human? That was related to the demo. Yes, the second agent was a human. I think this is answered. Okay, I'm just marking the question that we have answered in the chat. And
I see.
What is the pricing structure for Enterprise Bot?
Pricing structure is I call it an all-inclusive model. So basically, what we do is we price by conversations or by minutes. That is our pricing or key pricing metric that is there. So usage-based pricing, and in this usage-based pricing, we have all everything inclusive. So basically, there is no additional cost around, let's say, Gen AI tokens, or let's say voice translations, speech to text components, etc., etc. So it is an all-inclusive, let's say, consumption pricing in the sense of how many minutes do I need, how many conversations do I need. That is then the pricing structure.
Okay, thank you so much. Are there any further questions? If not, and if you want also to meet us offline or in LinkedIn, here are our contacts, and you can get in touch on which channel that you want, at least. So we are quietly back to the end. So we would appreciate your feedback. Share your thoughts, or maybe something that we can improve for the next session, because we are planning to do the session in several languages and several at least regions, and would appreciate your feedback, honestly. So you could put it in the chat. And we have also prepared some additional slides for you with some sources and future readings, and we will share this also with the presentation and update it as also. So that's all. And now, thank you so much from our team, from Alexander, Robert, and Danielle, for being here with us in this 1.5 hour almost. And yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's a lot.
Thanks, guys.
I will now slip the recording. Thank you. Thank you.